We made it to March, brother. It's
Yes,
March
we did.
1st. Listen, 2023. Team No Sleep, Social Impact of Sport. Montel Allen is that guy right there. How you living, brother?
Man, blessed as usual, man. Trying to make it through another day.
Yeah.
Welcoming in the third month of 2023.
Come on
We
now.
almost we just passed 60 days in. We about we on sit number 61, so it's good to be here.
There you go. If we can make it these first 30, 60 days, we can make it the rest, right? So,
Absolutely, absolutely.
I love it. I love it. Let's go ahead and recognize some of the folks coming in, seniors in the building, so the show can officially begin. See you tomorrow, sir. We're going to hit them streets now. Make sure you got your boots and make sure you got a jacket because it's snowing where we going. Hopefully you ready. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, MDH is in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, shouts out to MDH. She don't come around no more. She busy. She bougie. But it's all good. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you, my friend. Noosh, hey, second time, huh? Were you? I did. So Montel, this is my third stream today. So I'm chock
You
full
on
of
fire?
crazy right
Yeah, you on
I've
fire right
been. I'm standing up. I'm drinking scotch. I'm not going to the gym tonight.
there.
Listen, man. I'm through. I am through. So. Let's go and get into it, folks. We typically talk. Hold on, what is this, man? You talk about the clip. See, already talking about the Clippers. We don't talk about the scores, but
Uh-huh.
man, talking about the Clippers.
Oh yeah. We can get into that a little bit too. We'll talk a little bit about that. We can go into that one real quick.
See
Whenever you're
now,
ready.
she complains talking about she sleep. So it's 6, 7. It's 9 o'clock. She's on the East Coast.
Okay.
So but she starts her day early. Probably got a Tito's in hand right now, though. I'm putting all the business out there in the streets,
Hey,
man.
hey, have Melanie have a nightcap and relax, man. Sit back in the
Oh,
bed, just listen and enjoy the show.
there it is, Scotch. There it is. Eric Watkins, good to see him. At 12-year-old Scotch, okay, everybody here got their little drinky drink on. All right,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
we should make that a recurring theme because sometimes we get into some of these topics and we need to have a little something stronger than a lemonade going. But all right.
I mean, it's everybody's prerogative, right? I mean, it's all right to have a little drink, relax, hear a little bit of insight on what's going on, and our perspective, and then also look through our audience's lenses to kind of just capture some of these stories that was rocking outside.
Okay.
So
Got some new folks in here. Okay, at the J, ATO the J. Okay, man. Well, welcome to the family. Listen, if it's your first time, welcome to the family. Make sure you subscribe because this is really where we get into it. And let me stop messing around. I'm actually halting and procrastinating because again, we got some challenging stories that we start off with, social impacting types of stories. So let me go ahead and pull this first one up. Football
yes,
fans, old dude from the football world, Indianapolis Colts linebacker retired, accused, charged, arrested, booked for punching his son and choking his son's boyfriend.
yep.
Indianapolis Colts old school linebacker. I was trying to pronounce his name, Joe Staysniak.
Hmm.
Last week, accused of a domestic incident where he was told that there was some noise, a ruckus happening outside in his driveway by his neighbor. Right.
Correct.
Went out there. Come to find out, he saw his son and his son's boyfriend in the car. Joe, old school dude, 56-year-old, 6'5", retired football guy. So he's going out there and he's choking people, punching people, punching his son, choking his son's boyfriend in the car. And the kicker is this, folks. All that is bad in and of itself, right? You're going out there and you got some domestic violence situations, but you scroll down and I'll make sure you have the link to the story. Oh, Joe says, "Look, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Wasn't me. The old Eddie Murphy joke. Wasn't me. I didn't touch my son. My son actually attacked me." Listen, you see how big this man is. Linebacker for the Indianapolis Colts. The issue around this, I think, again, is probably old school dude out there not wanting to accept that his son is having a different lifestyle than he was typically brought up with, having neighbors witnessing that, then coming and tell him, "Hey, go see what's going on in your driveway." Him going out there and seeing it and then reacting. It's an unfortunate situation. He's been charged. He's still trying to fight it because he's denying the whole situation ever happened. But everyone's got a camera, everyone's got video. I mean, everyone has seen what happened. It's an unfortunate situation that here we go, right? What are your thoughts on this, though, man? I'm trying to find a part where he says, "Look, you're on it. It wasn't me."
Me, I'm personally, it's
There it is, right
homophobia,
there.
right? It's homophobia, and it's not understanding how to deal with the fact that it's his son in a relationship, I think, with a man. And that's my opinion. I don't know, Stan. He may not be homophobic. Maybe it was an argument. I have no idea. But to me, on the outside looking in, it looks like it was some homophobia.
Yeah,
He saw he saw his son engaging, with his boyfriend, and I think his rage took over. And this is just a process of not understanding, right? I mean,
yeah,
people have to live their lives, and what goes behind closed doors is other people's business. And maybe that was already the case, but since his son was showing some PDA, some public display of affection out in the front yard
yeah.
and out there, I think Joe really had a problem with that. You know what
I
I
think
mean?
that's where see now you're making it
Yeah,
plain,
yeah,
right? Because now
yeah,
we pulling all the fluff back. Because again, Joe's
yeah,
saying, oh, you see it on the screen, he denied hitting the boyfriend and said that his son came after him and he shoved
yeah.
his son backwards with an open
And
hand. But in the heat of the
it,
moment, and with all the emotions of seeing what he saw, and again, probably coming from old school mentality and just that homophobia piece, and then the
yeah.
neighbors telling them what's going on. Oh, Joe just
I mean, I
reacted
mean, the funny part
in the
about it is
wrong way.
probably
So
that
let
people.
me put that out. Joe reacted in the wrong way. Let me put that out there.
Yeah, definitely wrong. I mean, nothing's right about this. I think Joe. I mean, people probably in the neighborhood already knew his son was probably a homosexual or he was gay. And I'm sorry, I don't want to know the titles. I know the LGBT. I don't know what that
Don't let
category is, so
nobody
I'll just
come
say
after
gay.
us. Listen, we
Yeah,
already got police
yeah,
after us, and we already got
yeah. I don't want that
I
community
got
after. So,
trolls.
so,
So
so
don't
if I mistitled what he's identifying with,
man.
I
Yeah.
apologize. But I'll say gay because I think that's the overall umbrella. So I think he probably had a problem. I mean, I think the neighborhood already knew that he was gay, right? Or people probably had a perception that he probably was gay or homosexual. Now that he comes in this situation and he's doing it outside the car or outside the car, I think Joe probably had a really big problem with it. He probably haven't had a chance to even understand it and digest it right now. I know and let's be real honest with you, I know he loves his son.
Yeah.
He just doesn't understand how his son's behavior or his relationship thing is going on. So with that being said, I think that's where it draws the problem. I think he probably got in a heated discussion. The discussion kind of got out of hand. Old Joe probably was like, you know what? I'm gonna push him, son attack, or vice versa. Whatever the camera says, what they were doing, they got into an altercation. And now, and obviously, I believe Joe probably was the aggressor in the situation. And then I think that's where this kind of case leads down there. But we got to peel the onion back a little bit more, and I think it's more of an attitude and getting more of an understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you agree with the lifestyle or not, it's here. You have to respect it. Even if you don't agree with it or like it, you still need to respect it. And you can't respect it. You can't be putting your hands on people
Especially
just
if
because
that's
you
your
disagree.
son, right? Especially if
Yeah,
that's your
hey,
own
anybody,
child right there, right? I mean,
anyone.
regardless, but
Yeah,
that's your own kid right there.
yeah. And you know what? I hate to say this, but you know what? As a heterosexual man, I can probably identify with Joe's frustration. I'll be the first one to admit it. I would be able to identify with his frustration and not understanding.
Mm-hmm.
I would be able to. I can openly admit that
Yeah.
I would probably have a
That's why we're
problem.
having this conversation,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Again, because this is probably something that would be swept under the rug or not wanting to have folks not wanting to talk about. But again, this is something that,
yeah,
again, from a social impact perspective, our youth are looking at these athletes as role
yeah.
models or whatever the case may be. So they're having these conversations amongst themselves. They probably
Mm-hmm.
want to talk to their parents about, hey, I may be feeling a certain way or whatever. I mean, I almost think about the whole Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle about
Yeah,
their
that's
daughters,
another
right? I mean, so
situation. Yeah,
that whole
yeah,
conversation as well. So this right here, man was
yeah,
told that, hey, your son is out there with a dude making some noise, look like a ruckus, and he goes out there, snaps.
yeah. And you got to understand where he comes from, right? The world he
Yeah.
comes from, the old NFL, very machismo, right? Macho, tough guy. You know,
Well, look at him. He's a big
just
dude,
that
man.
kind of
I'm scared of the
mentality.
picture.
That behavior where he's coming from is definitely wasn't tolerated, right? It
Yeah.
wasn't tolerated and it wasn't accepted. So, and that's not an excuse. It's just let's talk about what it is. That's what it was. Now you come to this situation and his son's engaging in a homosexual activity or a homosexual relationship. I mean, I can understand where he's frustrated. Would I handle it a different way? Yes, but I can empathize with what Joe went through. I don't condone it at all. So don't get it misconstrued that just because I can understand where it comes from that I condone it. I don't condone his behavior.
Don't hit you with the
Yeah,
DMs and the retweets. Like, man, come on,
yeah,
man,
don't
don't
hit
hit you with the
I'm
DMs.
not being that, but I mean, we have to be honest with ourselves as heterosexual men. If that situation comes up, you got to be honest with yourself that you would be uncomfortable with it.
Yeah.
Period. You have to acknowledge you would be uncomfortable with it. If you are, and if you're uncomfortable with it, you got to gain some more understanding about what's going on.
I like that.
And,
right there it is right there. Growth, understanding, and maturation comes from having what we always talk about, this uncomfortable conversation that folks are, shying away from, putting the blinders on. Man, listen, you got to talk about this. This is what it is.
And I think most people try to ignore it, right? They'll like you said, sweep it under the rug. Oh, I don't believe my son is gay, or if he is gay, don't bring it around here. Or my daughter's gay, I don't want her to bring it around here. I won't accept it. I'm not going to believe that. No, you got to, even though you have an issue with it, you got to be honest with yourself. Say, okay, I have an issue with it. Let me see how I can address it to make it better, to also preserve the relationship with my child.
Yeah.
I
like what MDH is saying, right? It's even harder that he is denying the situation, right? Again, if he did that and is denying it, it's even harder for the kids to feel comfortable. So, right, saying that he didn't touch the child, he didn't smack him, he didn't have a gun and all of that, but now he's been released on his own recognizance after initially being arrested. How is that conversation going right now around the Staysniak dinner table?
Well, I mean, not on that, but around the neighborhood, the buzz around the neighborhood was going on, right? So this is now he turned the situation that could have possibly handled it privately or just within their family. Now it's a thing that's talked about the neighborhood, and now us nationally, right? We're talking about it.
Yeah.
So it's a situation now that if he didn't want it to get out, it's out now.
Oh, it's out.
It's out now.
Yeah.
So I believe that. I mean, like I said, I can see Joe, because I'm looking through his lens. I think as somewhat of an old school heterosexual male, I can see his lens. I don't condone it. I wish he could have handled it a different way and be able to have a conversation with his son and his son's boyfriend and kind of just explain his side of the story. And then maybe they would see through his lens and vice versa. They could see through their lens. Hey, they're in a relationship. It is what it is. I mean, you got to either learn to accept with it, and if you can't accept it, you got to learn how to live with it and make peace with it at some particular point. But I mean, that's just the reality.
Adult conversation that you're trying to have, right? That right there.
But I mean, where else would you go with it?
That's true.
Otherwise, the only other alternative is if you do what Joe did. You fight. You beat him up.
You end up in jail.
You finish altercation, you go to jail.
You end up with restraining orders. You end up in jail. Shouts out to people coming in the building. I see you coming in, Florence. Glad you're here. Kevin is in the building. Says my TNS fam. What is going on? Listen, got some winners in the building today, folks.
Man. Appreciate the growth, man, of spreading the word.
Yes. Eric Watkins, he is going to get railed for killing someone who is gay. They're going to give him life or death penalty. He didn't kill anybody.
He didn't kill anybody, just hit it.
He just choked him out. Right. I mean, pretty much. All right. That's what it is. That's the only light of the situation I'm gonna make. Old school dude went out there, saw two fellas in his driveway, and he messed around and choked them out. That's not a good look. But no, he didn't.
Not a good look.
He didn't end up killing nobody. So Joe's gonna have to do some community service, do some time, maybe do some not efficacy training, but
counseling.
Something.
I think there needs some counseling and some understanding. But I mean, I think even more so than that, man. I think this is a bigger issue. This is a bigger issue than this Joe.
There it is, right there. Private matters should stay private. But when you violate the law, it becomes public. There it is, right there.
Absolutely, that's powerful. But I believe this Joe situation is a bigger problem, because I think we have a lot of in-closet homophobia, right? Let's call it that, in-closet homophobia. And they're not willing to have that uncomfortable conversation, right? They'd rather just hide behind their fears and their understanding instead of having a conversation and talking. And I'm not saying you have to make peace with it, because we're all adults. We can agree to disagree. I can not agree with your lifestyle or whatnot. But you have to be respectful. I mean, I keep repeating myself with that because it's the truth. You have to be respectful of the lifestyle. If it's your child, it hits a little bit harder home.
Yeah.
But that should be even more white, should be having even a more in-depth conversation about it. You know what I mean? So I think it's funny. I have a person in my family that is gay or
Mm-hmm.
homosexual or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I always talk about the titles, right? The LGBTQ, and we always argue about it because I try to get an understanding. I don't understand how it all works, right? And then they always adding letters onto it too because people have different feelings and want to be labeled. But I'm willing to have that uncomfortable conversation because not because I'm homophobic or anything, but I want to have a better understanding, and I want to be able to call people the right thing or justify them the right thing. And I think a lot of people just don't want to have that uncomfortable conversation. Me, I just want to learn. I want to understand because I want to better understand her. I want to better understand her feelings and her labels and what she feels and all those good things, or he feels in my family, so I can know, so I can know, so I don't make the mistake and say something stupid, which I'm always putting my foot in my mouth. Anyways, you guys know on Team
Yeah,
No
well,
Sleep, but
that's your
it's
job.
all
That's
good. It's all
that's
good.
that's that's why you
Yeah,
here, right? You here
yeah.
for the heckling and for the outtakes. Mom, okay, she says she's been trying to get in for 10 minutes. Are you all right? Lord have mercy. She over there on the Facebook. That's the challenge right
Okay,
there. She
okay,
need to
okay.
come on over to YouTube where the cool
Yeah,
kids are. Come on over. Oh
yeah,
my
yeah. Oh, yeah,
goodness. Hold
absolutely, man. I
up.
mean,
Look,
and everybody tell a friend, like, to come on
tell
in
a
and comment. I
friend,
think
tell a
that,
friend. Listen, we got some more winners in the building. Melody Pruitt. These are some old school cats right here. Social media only shows what they want you to see. Okay, I like that. I like that.
yep.
Melody, good to see you. Tell Sherm I said what's going on. We're gonna get out there to the Pacific Northwest before too long. Uh, nothing but respect for my brother Montel. Trying to understand is the first step.
Yeah,
Many
absolutely.
many aren't willing to take. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
All right,
I
man.
think
Let's
I think we all should, right? I
yeah,
think we all should. I think everyone should. Um, Everyone should take the first step. Like I said, to
yeah.
have that uncomfortable conversation.
There you go.
Um,
All we can do is position you with this information, and you do so what you will. You know, you got a situation just like Montel was saying. You know, you got people in your family. I got people in my family. But again, be willing, be brave enough, have the courage enough to have those types of conversations. Everything is not always nice and easy and good and smooth,
yeah.
right? You have to go ahead and get down into it sometime.
It's funny
Mm,
though. You know how we always talk about looking through other people's lenses, and I try to imagine. Can you imagine how comfortable and how hard it is to look through their lens and come out and try to talk about it? Something that they
mm,
know their family disagrees with. They know, there's going to be slander. They know there are going to be all these different things just within your family, not
yeah,
even outside your family, within your family.
yeah,
Can you imagine how hard that would be for someone to do that? We have a hard time coming out saying anything. We don't even like to talk about our political stance, right? We have a hard time talking about our political stance outside of our little circle. Can
yeah.
you imagine a young person trying to come out and talk about how they feel, their emotions and how they feel, and that they're in that situation? I think that us as adults, as we get older, we really need to take the time and try to empathize and look through their lens just to see how
Mm,
hard it is.
good point.
And again, you don't have to agree. I'm not
Yeah.
saying you have to agree with it, and you don't even have to accept it. You
No.
really don't. As an adult, you don't even have to accept it, but you have to respect it.
You have to respect and have that conversation and have that dialogue. There it is, right there. Right.
Yeah,
That's what makes. All right, we can go into a whole nother paradigm, a whole different conversation. That's what makes this country what it is, right? By having that ability to have conversations that I may not agree with you, I don't care left, right, center, whatever color and things of that nature is, but at least we
mm-hmm.
can sit down at the table and debate. We can sit down at the table and have a constructive conversation with criticism, with feedback, with effort, whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
can walk away from that table. We can still probably shake hands. But because
absolutely.
Montel has the ability to say what he wants to say, James has the ability to say what he wants to say. It's wasted sometimes because we shy away from actually getting into
Yes,
real detailed conversation.
yes.
I love that piece right there.
It's just not done, and I think you should have the ability as a person, especially when you comes to your child, to be able to speak candidly how you
Yes.
feel about the situation. If you don't agree with it or you're not accepting it, say you don't do that. Tell them why. Explain why you don't accept it, and then say, pause. Tell me otherwise how you feel. You know, you can. I mean, there's arguments about if it's biological, something like that, or however it happens, it doesn't matter. But now a person can sit there, open it, and see how that individual feels and why they feel that way and why they have that lifestyle. And then I think at that point, that's where the common ground comes, right? That's where you can have that meeting. You can say, hey, you know what? I don't agree with it. Don't have it in front of my house. However you feel about it, don't have it in front of my house. Or, you know, your partner's welcome to come. However you feel. But I mean, until they have that conversation, and especially in this case, like with Joe and them and all these other situations, until they have that conversation, there'll never be a common ground. Right now, there's a big wedge because he decided to act violently.
There'll never be closures. There'll never be there'll never be a healing moment. Yeah.
It's gonna be hard, really hard for them to kind of probably get over it. And you know, he got a mental relationship with his kids, save himself from the embarrassment from his neighbors, and so on and so on. And now naturally being, you know, probably
don't envy this dude, man. Yeah. I don't envy this cat.
Yeah, he's got to go through a whole lot of stuff, man.
Yeah, hey man, I gotta make sure that I'm watch my P's and Q's tonight. I can't be dropping any bad language. I got my parents, and then my mother-in-law came in and said she sees me on the Facebook too. See, oh my, I gotta make sure that hold on. Okay, let me make sure I'm presentable here today. Okay. Good to see you, Mama. Oh, and then listen, we got Mama D in the building. She came over. Appreciate you. Man, this is all good stuff. Kevin always comes with great comments. The beauty is understanding everyone's viewpoints and understanding each other as people. Ditto.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, there is an Aretha Franklin song in my head. Which one you talking about? Which one? I'm just messing with MDH because I know she's trying to sleep right now.
Yeah, she's talking about their respect. You know,
she's on her like last leg over there trying to stay awake. And you know, I'm messing with her. That's all good. All right, folks, let's go ahead and get on to this next one. This is again, unfortunate situation. Young man's life is turning into something that he didn't plan it to turn into. I'm gonna let you go ahead and read this, Montel, while I scroll through. But Jalen Carter, some of y'all know if y'all follow sports, if y'all follow NFL potential, this man right here, his whole life has changed. Go ahead and talk to us a little bit about this.
He's a player for the national champion Georgia, defensive lineman. He was out one night. I'm assuming he was out there. They was out there doing the sideshow, what we call them on the West Coast, but I think down south in there they were doing the drag races, the dunk races, and all that stuff. And it happened to be an accident, and 2 people were killed. And now he has an arrest warrant for his arrest because he was involved in somehow. It's sad on 2 points. One, you know, first of all, the 2 people that lost their lives made their family, you know, get through this, and everything happens. My prayers are for them. But even on another note, for this young man, his life is ruined because now, as a person that was supposed to be the top 4 draft pick, obviously that's not going to be in the case because now there's going to be character issues and he has legal things going on. But now he has to deal with this whole ordeal. Remember, and I don't know if people know, the combine's this weekend. He's supposed to be there participating in the combine. That's over with because he has an arrest warrant. So if he shows up, he's going to be arrested on the spot. I know he's supposed to make arrangements to turn himself in, but as that hasn't happened as of yet. 2, he has a previous record of driving, you know, under the influence of alcohol. So they don't know if that was involved with this in this whole situation. I mean, he's in a big mess right now.
Man, this is terrible.
You got to think that his family, probably all dependent on him, and he reached the pinnacle, right? He's about to be drafted in the next month. In April, he's going to be drafted.
It was the 11th hour. It was the bottom of any sports analogies that that I typically like to use. He had done all the work.
Yep, everything's done.
All he had to do now was go jump high, run fast, and run a few routes at the combine, and he was signing $1 million checks.
Yeah, he was projected to go first round, and he's in the top 4. Some of them said the first pick in some people's boards. That means he just lost pretty much what, $45 million,
man,
right off the bat,
guaranteed.
Right off the bat. That's the signing bonus, $45 million. So he lost that much money. And you know, and thinking about it, man, it's so sad. No matter how much money he would have signed for, it's never going to replace those 2 people's lives.
There is a perspective I want to bring back. All right, we're talking about sports, we're talking about money, but again, you can't bring back the folks that lost their life, and then the families that had to deal with that, the families that got to bury their loved ones. So that's a whole different situation, different conversation as well that has to happen. But this right here, I mean, he's got to live with this too. Almost
Oh yeah,
how
he's got to deal with
difficult
this.
that is, right?
Yeah, he's got to live with that. And one of the people that died was his teammate, and the other one was an analyst, a recruiting analyst. So one of the people, someone was on staff that was working, probably a young guy that was working on staff trying to break into the coaching world, and another one was his teammate that passed away. So, I mean, he's got to just go to the point now to try to defend himself to make sure he's not convicted.
Yeah.
Then he has to go through the whole due process of what's going on, and maybe when the dust settles, it probably was sinking, and he has to deal with that mentally and emotionally as well. Probably because I'm assuming they were friends if they were with him at the same
Yeah.
time. It's a tough It's a tough thing, man. I mean, I think this is one of these circumstances that's just unfortunate. I will probably say this with 100% confidence. I know if he did have anything involvement, he didn't mean to kill him. I know for a fact. This is just adolescents being stupid and something went wrong. I know for a fact this is a negligence thing that something kind of happened, and I think it's a situation probably why this young man, I don't say he did it, but whatever the situation, he got scared and he ran. Right, he went wherever he's hiding because of the situation he got scared of. But
He
this
got
is something
scared,
he's
and then
trying
he
to
didn't.
think.
I think I scrolled through, and he said he came back a couple of hours afterwards. Yeah, Carter returned to the scene less than 2 hours later. But
Yeah,
again, right, just again that instant, not even adrenaline, just whatever, just what happened, right? And my first flight instinct was to go and run, but glad he came back. But man, this
yeah,
is just horrible for everybody
yeah. This is
involved.
this is
There's
bad,
no good
and
in
you guys
this.
will hear
Nothing
more.
good
I
in
know
this.
our audience will hear more about it as this story kind of unfolds on the news and everything. You guys, right now it's just a little sound bite on everyone's thing, but this is a big deal. You got to understand this is probably the possible number one recruit in the world, in the nation for National Football League, and now he's going to probably be, if he did anything, he's probably be convicted of vehicular manslaughter,
Yeah.
right? If,
So
if he had any involvement, they say he's going to be exonerated. I mean, I heard his lawyer or somebody said a statement that he'll be cleared of it, that he wasn't involved. But as of right now, if the charges stick, what they're going with, you don't offer an arrest warrant for no reason, right? If the person wasn't involved in some sort of phase of it, there was an arrest warrant, so it was done. Crazy part about it, man, is whoever did it, pretty slick, right? They know the combine's this weekend. That's somewhere he was going to be going, right? They know
yeah.
that's where he was
Yeah.
going to be going. So they issued it right before. The media is pretty slick with it. You know what I mean? They put it all out there. Instead, I truly believe they could have been handled a little bit slicker. If they know he's not, if they have any questions about him being guilty, if it's not foolproof, then they could have handled it a little bit slicker. I think authorities could have showed up to the combine and say, hey, we need to talk to you. Unfortunately, you're going to miss this combine. We got to bring you back to Georgia to question you about the accident.
Yeah.
And did it smooth, and that way that would have set Georgia and him to set up a press release saying, "Hey, he cannot attend, for personal reasons."
Right.
But as we know, the media, which I freaking hate sometimes, I don't know if you've seen him, but this is a big African American man that has braids and everything, and they have a story.
Yeah, I'll
All
see
of
if I can
your
find a
posts,
picture so folks can get some perspective on who
yeah,
Jalen Carter is. Yeah.
yeah. He's not
Um,
even found guilty yet, and they got his face plastered all over the New York Post.
let me
With the
see.
arrest warrant.
That's not a good picture of him, but I'll find him. But I want to bring this comment up here. This is a really good comment from Kevin here as well. While we're doing that, takes me back to the Henry Rugg situation. These young athletes need to understand that just because they are a big name in sports does not make them invincible. Accountability must be taken. And I mean, listen, right out there, I've never been in a sideshow, so I don't know. I've seen them.
Mm-hmm.
I've been out there racing. Yeah, done that before, but again, never done all that madness and that craziness, and that's just a recipe for disaster. If you're out there doing that kind of thing, man. So
I think you need to understand where you are at in life when you do that. I mean, first of all, I get it, and we can't. I mean, we can blame some on the kids, but we got to blame some on us as a community society because we don't provide them any outlet to do anything else but to hang out, right? We don't provide clubs anymore,
that's
nightclubs
true.
that were for
When's the last
21 and
time you've been
under.
to a YMCA
Yeah, yeah.
or a boys club? Right? That
Well,
is true.
yeah, not even that. I'm talking about let's have something for entertainment for these kids besides them. They closed down a lot of bowling alleys. They closed down all these things where they used to congregate and hang out at, and that's everywhere across the country. So, that's how sideshows and stuff kind of came apart, especially as they spread it around, especially the drag races. So, not excusing his behavior, him being there, but he needs to understand that he's about to be a number one draft pick, that you can't have yourself involved in that.
Yes.
You need to take accountability for yourself.
Well, national champion again, and we've talked about this, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but again, we've talked about this. National champion, you should have some people, right? You should have some folks that are watching everything that you do. You should have someone not just watching your money, watching your social media, watching your act. And again, this is probably pie in the sky, and I'm wishing for the best case scenario. And you can't be with someone all the time. You should have someone watching to make sure you don't drink something you don't want to be drinking.
Yeah,
testing your food. Again, this is a man who was about to get into the draft and take care of his family, generation, and now that is
in jeopardy.
In jeopardy. Two folks have lost their life, and this man is not going to come in at the level that he initially was, and the tenure, the career of a pro football player is already short. Brady and Rodgers and all these other folks, right? I mean, they're anomalies, right? We're talking maybe 10 years or so is the longevity of a average elite NFL player, any athlete. And now that's probably shattered. I was trying to find some pictures of him that show his whole.
What's even more bizarre about this? This is a second vehicular accident involving Georgia players since the national championship. Remember, right after the national championship.
That's right.
Yeah. They got killed going back to Athens.
After the game.
And a trainer. Yeah, and now we're going with a coach, a recruiting analyst, and another player being killed in these drag races. So I think I'm hoping, I hope the media takes notice of that, and I hope this Georgia put something in place for their players. We're like, hey, we need to, do something to corral you guys to make sure this doesn't happen again, because these incidences right now, at least in Georgia, right now, one happened in January, which was last month, actually, 2 months ago, and now one's happened now in February. There's obviously a problem. There's a problem.
That's crazy.
Something's going on.
Yeah, let me position this question that came up from Cheryl right here. She says, what can universities do in the aftermath to change future student athletics from this kind of behavior?
It's going to be tough.
Yeah, because right? Let's put this out to the community too, folks listening and watching. Go ahead and chime in if you got a suggestion on this. Right? What can the university do? I almost don't know if it's the onus is on the university.
Yeah, at that point, like in this person's situation, he's pretty much done with school, right? He's done. He's getting ready to play professional football. So at this point, you really can't do too much. I think they can do something that are current student athletes that are still have to be involved in the campus and coming back to play the following year.
Yeah.
But kids that are graduating and getting ready to remove themselves and go to the league, I don't think there's very much you can do. A lot of these kids they don't live on campus, right? They live in their own houses. They're getting a stipend or they're getting money. So they kind of do, especially once you're removed from the team and you're like, hey, I'm going to the pros. You kind of don't even do anything on the university except for work out. You just go there and you work out, you lift, and then you're pretty much on your own. He may or may not go to classes. I'm not sure. But at that point, it's kind of going to be hard to corral someone that's already laid themselves about to be a professional. The ones that aren't, I mean, you could put something on them, but I mean, again, how are you going to control 100 young men from not going out and doing something and trying to have fun, or what they deem as fun, is going to watch the street races or going to watch a sideshow? And maybe the probability of something's going to happen, but most likely, it happens 3,000 times, and then 3,001 is when something actually happens.
That's true.
They've probably been going to these things all this time, and there's been no incidents. It's just kind of unfortunate. It's just sad that this young man has to be involved in it, and I pray not only for him but for his friends and family that he wasn't the cause of their death.
Yeah, that's going to come out, and we're kind of Monday morning quarterbacking this by talking about it ahead of time. When all that information comes out, and if it comes out in that kind of negative light, it's going to just continue to roll downhill. Let me bring this up here. I wonder if these coaches have classes on behavior before they go out to play, or just put them out to play.
No, they do.
At the college level, at these elite levels, they do. Right? Think about what Deion is putting in place with them Colorado Buffaloes. Listen, this is big business.
Yeah,
Right.
you got to think
Especially
it's a big
those
dollar
high
business.
caliber players. Yeah, this is big
Yeah.
business. They got all those
And
things
not,
in
not only
place.
do they do it there, they do it in the entry into the NFL, right? They have the NFL
Yeah.
symposium where
Hmm.
these kids go talk and get a better understanding and talk to ex players what's going on. So there's some stuff there to kind of go with them. But the bottom line is, at some point, these young men got to understand who they are and what their situation they're in, and keep themselves out of harm's way. I'll be the first one. He should have known better. Like
Hmm.
I can't go to them situations until I get this bag secured, right? Till I get my money secured, I'm not
I'm just
doing
gonna stay at
nothing.
the house. I'm gonna watch Netflix, order some pizzas.
Yeah,
I'm not going to no
yeah.
clubs.
I think
Right? That's it. That's what you do.
that's it. I mean, I think the bigger problem, they need to figure out how to deal with what they so called as boredom, because they feel like they're so bored that they need to go out and do all these things
Hmm.
and and get themselves in situations like this. They need to figure out how to entertain themselves so they can kind of go forth with it. And unfortunately, there was no one to guide him to tell him, hey, you know what, man, you need to sit in the house until this is all done, said and done.
So here I go with my teachable moment again. Here, because we've talked about this again, right? And I've mentioned a little bit. We've got those fear of influence around us. We have to stay constantly vigilant in our kids in the youth, right?
Yep.
Can't just let them go. Us old school cats in here. Listen, I saw, what was it? I think Mama D was talking about she stays on top of her boys, right? She's got 4 sons, but
Mhm.
we can't just assume. We definitely have to stay a part of what the kids are doing. Don't just let them go down the path without being aware. You're not going to helicopter parent them, but
Yeah.
you have to stay aware and involved in what your kids' life are doing, who they're hanging out with, and things of that nature. Make sure they're around quality people. If they got to cut somebody loose, tell them they got to cut people loose.
You know what's funny, James? And I think we discussed it before. To me, it's funny because us as parents, and I'll say as a whole, us as parents, we have a say in everything a child does for 17 years, 364 days, uh, to the 23rd hour and 59 minutes. And then when they turn 18, we feel that they're old enough to go when we've been guiding them all this time. And you can't wean a heroin off a heroin right away. You can't make the kid become an adult right away. You got to guide them along the way to make them happen. So when they become 18, 19, 20, 21, you still need to be, I feel you should still be involved in their lives, help them to make the sound right decision. Not saying, hey, you're an adult, you make your own decisions now. Really? They're not equipped. So why do us as parents feel just because they turn 18, that's the cutoff date? I can't do anything else for you. You may not say I can't support you financially, but tough decisions, I would hope more parents start to be involved in their lives and kind of guide them the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Because
That's truth
again,
right there, brother.
18, man, you
18
dumb
ain't
as hell
nothing.
when you're 18.
I
You
was
dumb as hell
listen
when you're 18.
again.
You don't know what's going on.
I'm gonna hush my mouth because I got full, at least 3 out of the 4 of my in-laws and parents on the line here. So I'm not gonna say all the dirt I was doing. I didn't
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
get caught, but at 18 I didn't know nothing either, man.
You didn't know.
I was
So
stupid.
so
We all
so
were.
us as parents, I'm gonna say us as parents and us as African American parents, because I can speak from my perspective as an
Come on
African
now,
American parent.
come on.
I already know we hear it all the time. When you're 18, you got to go. You got to do something.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, wow, I'm not equipped to really do anything, but I'm 18, so I got to go do something. Um, well, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go to the military. I'm gonna go to college. I don't know. You need to make that decision. Really? They're not equipped to make a decision. Your child is really not at the age of 18 not equipped to make a decision. I think that there needs to be more parent involvement. And I'll challenge anybody out there. I don't believe 18 is a cutoff date. This young man's older than 18. I believe he's like 21 or 22 or 23. But if he had
Yes.
that constant guidance and helping him throughout the whole thing, knowing he's really being successful in football, and there's a voice in his ear, like, look, man, hey, you get to that point, you need to, hey, pump brakes on everything until that draft day. Like, don't do nothing until draft day. Matter of fact, look, we'll send you somewhere else to get out of the environment until you finish securing that bag on draft day. I just believe, man, we tend to always want to pull away from our kids instead of staying within their lives, man, for a couple of years to get them on the right track.
Once a parent, always a parent. It doesn't stop at 16, 18, 21, whatever. Here's Mama Sheila's talking about kids' brains aren't fully developed until age 25. Kids
Mm.
need their parents' guidance well after age 18. Poor choices have consequences. If I had
I'm
a
just,
mic, I'd drop it. Well, I'm not going to drop these
yeah,
mics. These
yeah,
expensive mics, but
yeah. No, I really do, man. I just think there's something there, man. I don't, and I seen it a lot of our community, in my community, where I see where parents, they get to that 18 years old and parent, they just tired. You got to go. You got to figure it out. It's not. I'm sorry. Life is a huge puzzle. It ain't a jigsaw puzzle. This is the
Come
puzzle of
on,
life.
there it is.
They need some.
make
They need
it
some
plain.
help putting the pieces together.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And I think when you do that and you let them make their own decisions, again, there's that big old then there's that big old gap for mistakes, right? There's a big old mistakes for things that can really go wrong, or situations that happen. Especially, I think, even with young ladies, they can put themselves in uncompromising situations if there's no one guiding them, helping them get through the long way. 18 is not the cutoff date, and I see it more so in economic situations, right? More, if you're in a high economic, they're probably there. But if you're in that socioeconomic, where you're in that low class status and mom and dad working every day and all that stuff, I know it's hard. But when they're 18, man, it can't be the cutoff date. It can't be, because we're losing too many young men, too many young ladies in these streets for that, because of that same exact situation. There was no one to guide them. No one to just keep giving that perspective. Say, "I've been there, done that." Don't do that.
I see someone come, and I mean, that's all relevant, and that's all truth right there. I see someone here in the comments. What's up to you, Mr. Riley, man? So James Riley is here in the West Coast as well. He's down in your neck of the woods. He's involved in the school districts and working with the youth. Would love to bring you on, James, to have this kind of a conversation with us as well. How we can not disengage from
Yep.
the kids. Right. Again, 16, 18, 21, 25, all that. We need to stay constantly vigilant in the livelihood of not just our kids, not just the ones that live in our four walls, but again, what I always call our sphere of influence. So think about that, man. I'm gonna reach out to you because I would love to have kind of your perspective on that, since I know he's a coach down there too, football
Okay.
coach.
Okay.
Yeah, you probably know this, man. Come on, he down there doing what he do. James, put
Man.
in the school that you at, man. Because listen, I'm not here bridging gaps. I'm over here putting people together, advocating for stuff, man. Golly,
Yeah,
Corey
Coach Riley,
Tallboy Sanders in the
put
building.
yourself
Good
out
show
there.
you had, brother. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, absolutely. Big tall boy, what's happening, my man?
Yeah. So okay, let's go on to the next one. If you guys still got some comments on that particular topic, listen, I know again it's one to make you think. Right, is one to make you put the mirror up and ask your own self questions. So that's what we're doing here for sure. Let's see. Hold on, but before I move on, James says living life doing is different. We were growing up. I'm not giving up on my 22, 20, 17,
Yeah.
15-year-old kids.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't give up on them. I would say provide more guidance. I'm
Yeah.
not talking about giving up at all. I mean, but I know
involved.
some people in our community, they do. You hit
Stay
that age
involved.
of 18, they say you're grown now. You're grown. You go get it on your own. Ooh, I don't know.
Can't do it.
I don't think that's the right thing. Now, obviously, there's some kids that are more mature than others, but I mean, we still got to be that guiding light and guiding information and kind of just lead them in the right way. And I'm talking about collectively as a community, not just as a parent. Collectively as our community, you need to be like, hey, steer some of these young brothers right, these young sisters right, so they can kind of understand where they're going, because the streets is big, man, and that guidance is very, very small, so they need it. And I hate for them to make a mistake.
Did y'all hear that? Hold on. That's definitely gonna get cut up tonight. That's gonna be some micro content right there. The streets is big.
But the guidance is small, man. Yeah, the guidance is
You
small.
dropping them right there. Okay. That'll be on the TikTok in about 2 hours, y'all. That'll be on the TikTok in about 2 hours.
Yeah. You don't want to go to the University of Incarceration. So, man, you stay on that guidance, man.
My goodness. Okay, folks. Y'all better put some likes up in here. Listen, we need to see some more likes and some subscribes, because Montel is coming at you with some heat tonight. Next stories we got are we're kind of leveling out now, right? We had the high emotion stories right now. I got a couple of other things. Just want to chop it up with you and the audience about a lot of football stories this week. Aaron Rodgers, right? We know he's one of the greatest. He just is. You can debate it, you can complain, you can say yes or not. The man, when he throws the ball, it's like butter, and I love watching him at his craft. He has he and his team have faltered for the last few seasons, right? Definitely not been what Green Bay has expected to do. Everyone expects to get the Lombardi, but they haven't done it. Aaron just got back from spending a week in Oregon in a cave, depriving himself of all stimuli in darkness. He did a 4-day, 3-night, or 5-day, 4-night retreat up in Oregon in a cave at the Sky Cave Retreats to remove himself from social media, remove himself from, people in his ear talking about contracts, talking about what team you're going to go to and all that kind of thing. What are your, and I bring this story up just to ask you, what are your thoughts about doing something to this extreme, right? I mean, just completely unplugging from all life and saying for an entire week, and they actually have retreats for a lot longer than that, but he only did for a week, of saying, I need to get away from everything and everybody to try to get myself right, get my mind right, to understand where I want to start going as I go on to this next journey in life. Do you agree with going to this kind of extreme, I guess is what I'm trying to ask.
Man, that's on some rich privilege BS. I ain't never heard nothing like that. I can go sit in some dark for 4 days and cleanse my head and cleanse my, I ain't got time to be depressed.
You got time for that?
Pay the bills, man. So
you just make sure you get a good night's sleep on Friday night, and then get up and do it again Sunday. Okay, see, there you go.
Aaron's a strange guy to me. I mean, I'm gonna be real. He's a strange dude. I mean, he does things out of pocket. A lot of it because he can afford to do those kind of things out of pocket. And I don't know, man. I've never been a person that got to step away and go find myself. Okay. I never had the privilege to do that, right? I don't have the privilege to do that. And like me, you talked about. I agree with 50 Cent. Depression is a privilege. To be depressed because I got to work so much. I don't even have time to be depressed. I got to get up and go to work the next day. I got to get up and do things. I got to get up and feed my kids and take them to school. So depression is a privilege to have. Going on a retreat to find yourself, man, that's rich privilege. I don't know how to any other way to describe it in my world.
No, I'm just wondering, because again that seems so much of an extreme, and I almost wonder. When I read that, I thought this was actually running away from it, as opposed to trying to center and try to find whatever.
You digging too much into it, man. That dude was strange,
listen,
man.
It was a light week for stories. Okay, we already had our first two,
but call it what it is. The dude is strange. He's weird. He's been doing this kind of thing for the last couple of years. He joined last year he joined the rock brand and went on a mini tour, concert tour. Then now he's going into a cave to retreat. He's just a strange guy, and he can do it, but he has the privilege to do those things because he's rich, right? When you're rich, you can kind of dibble and dabble what you want, and kind of go find what else is out there to interest you.
Yeah.
He weird to me. He's weird to me.
4 days in a cave like that. I see the price sitting on there, and that means that. Listen, if you got to ask for the price, if you got to look at the tag, then it's probably. I got to take out a loan if I'm gonna go do something like this. But I was just curious what your thoughts were.
My 4 days of darkness is if I can't pay the light bill.
All right, see, there we go. We keep
when the light bill go off. There's my 4 days of darkness and solitude where I can figure out what's going on. Man, I mean, I love Aaron as a player, man. I think the dude is dynamic. I've seen him in a couple of interviews. I've never had the privilege of meeting him, but I've known some people that know him. I heard he's a good dude and he's cool, but that stuff right there, you can only do that's some stuff that we don't know nothing about, man. That's some rich stuff. People stuff that kind of go do this that believe they need all these things to remove themselves, and maybe he does. Maybe that's a great thing. Most people just go on vacation somewhere to the islands and do their thing. He wants to go in darkness.
He went into darkness, and we'll see if he comes out and finds himself. When you're getting paid, as it shows right there, $59 million. And you got to go hide and in darkness to find yourself and to figure out what it is you want to do. I hope you come back with some answers.
Hey, okay, that's rich. That's a rich people privilege, man, for real. And anybody don't agree with me, please chime in because I don't mind having that debate with you.
Here is Montel's Twitter ID right there. Hit him up. Don't DM me because I got enough. Like I said, I got enough trolls already after me, and I don't. Don't want it. I don't want it.
That's
All
pretty
right,
crazy,
bro.
man. I mean, I've never heard that before. Somebody want to go in the dark for 3 or 4 days just to go find themselves. I can't relate.
Can't relate. That's all right. We got some good news.
Mm-hmm.
News. This lady is back in public. This lady,
Mm-hmm.
Brittney Griner, is being seen. She's out there on the court. She was at the Super Bowl. Saw some
Mm-hmm.
pictures of her there, but she's out there doing drills. She's actually working with the team. She's working with the Mercury. So I mean, listen, that's good news. After going through the ordeal, having Brittney Griner back out there with her squad, she's with her wife, and looks like acclimating back to some sense of normalcy. I think this is wanted to definitely put this story out there. That this is some good news for
Yeah.
folks.
I think her getting back acclimated, coming back to the team. I'm glad she decided to play basketball again. I think that's
Yeah,
a great thing for her to kind of get back into it. That's back. I'm thinking that's her sanctuary. Where she's been very
yeah,
successful at. Uh, I don't know, man. You know me. I criticize the WNBA all the time and the NBA for not, mass marketing and doing things. I believe there should be a welcome back tour for her. After the ordeal she's been through with the say welcome back to not only to the United States, but welcome back to playing in the WNBA and embracing
welcome
her
back to
in that
freedom.
realm.
Welcome back
Yeah,
to
just
freedom.
embracing freedom.
Right? She
Yeah,
was in a Russian detention camp.
yes,
Wasn't planning on getting out for a couple of decades. So yeah, welcome back to
absolutely.
freedom.
So I mean, I think they should take advantage of that. I hope she has a phenomenal year. Obviously, I hope she plays and has a phenomenal year. But I mean, we still haven't heard Brittney really have a candid conversation and talk about what happened and what the situation.
Yeah.
She's still, being reserved about that, and she has every right to do that. But I would love to hear her story. I would love for them to be able to hear, take her story, get a better understanding of it, and let us understand what happened, so we can even empathize even more.
Yeah.
To her story.
But again, that's us, right? That's external
Yes.
folks. That's the fans wanting to hear and want her to go into that deep chasm and talk about that. She may not be ready for that, right?
Yep.
Well, she'll do it when she's ready. Because again,
And
kind
I
of like
respect
the
that.
like the
respect
Naomi
that.
Osaka thing, all right? Though, because we always talk about the mental health, mental awareness, things of that nature. When she's ready, I'm sure she'll do her memoir or have that conversation. But we want to hear it now. We want to know, what was it like? All the good, the bad, and the ugly, that kind of thing. So pray she don't try no nonsense anymore. Well, she she got caught up. She has some things in her suitcase and all. But I hear what you're saying, and I see that. But I think I don't think Brittany's gonna get caught up anymore. I think Brittney is
I
not
don't
gonna
think
get
she's
caught
playing
up.
ball overseas no more. I don't think she's
I
gonna play
was
no
gonna say,
ball overseas.
I don't think Brittany is leaving Phoenix. She's not leaving the contiguous 48 states anymore. She may not even go to Hawaii.
But you know what? I would hope Brittney Griner is an advocate for them getting more pay now.
Okay, that's a good
point. That's more, and to be honest, that's the whole situation.
Yeah.
The situation is she had to go over there in order to make more money to be able to provide for her family the way she felt fit, instead of
hitting. Get everybody paid the way they're supposed to be paid.
Yeah, I think WNBA players. I don't even think their average is $100,000 a year. I don't even think they make $100,000 a year across the board.
It's embarrassing what they get paid, what they don't get
Yeah.
paid. Yeah,
they don't get paid that. They fly. They don't fly commercial flights. They fly commercial.
They fly commercial.
They don't fly private. They don't. So a lot of things they don't get. And this is a prime time. I think she could tell her story and advocate for. We need to be able to get paid more. I've already told you. I think they'll justify because we don't. They don't get the TV time and they don't do this because of the men. So they're not a big enough fan base for us to justify their salaries. Then let's change it. Like I already told you, we can change the narrative. Have them be at the same time as the NBA, and that way they can kind of coincide with each other. Now fans get a double dip. You can see your best female basketball team play as well as the male basketball team play, and that way they can double dip. When you pay for a ticket, you get 2 games instead of 1. Man. Now they can justify why they get the money.
I'd be right there in the front row. I would be right there in the front row for that. I mean, that's just no-brainer.
Why not?
Situation. Yeah. I mean, it just makes sense. It just makes sense.
Just makes so much more sense. And you can charge a little bit extra.
And everyone wins. And everyone wins, right? Because again, it's always the mighty dollar that leads the conversation. So there. And again, we've talked about this. So we're not going to beat this horse. But
I ain't gonna go there. But I mean, I think. But I mean, she needs to advocate for that and have her voice be
Yeah.
the echoing about why we should
Yeah.
get more. Like, she should be able to go to the NBA Players Association and tell them, I need you guys to back us up and help us get more because we can't risk any more of our players going over there and something else happen. I mean, she got caught with cannabis oil, man. It's not even, she didn't have a joint. She had no
Yeah.
bong.
Yeah.
She had oil that they thought was a violation. So prevent them, people have to take those chances. Why don't you say we got to give more money? That's like we try to say we want our young youth, we want them to prevent them from taking penitentiary chances and not doing those things. She needs to be that same advocate for basketball. Hey, we need to take this chance so they don't have to go overseas and play, and they can enjoy their lives as a professional athlete over here because there's more than enough money. I'm telling, I know for a fact they're getting money on that TV time because everybody getting money on that TV.
Yes, sir.
WNBA is broadcasting on the TV. It's just not revenue share like it is in the NBA. It's just not. So she needs. I know she's been traumatic and she's been through this, but if no one else wants to go through this, she needs to be that reasoning voice. She needs to be that echoing voice saying, "Hey, we can't do this. You know, we need to figure out a way to give more equity to the players."
I hope she does. I hope she'll do something. I think. I mean, I don't. And again, I'm outside person looking in. I think she realizes that now she has some type of responsibility because of all of the attention that it has that it garnered.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been nice to push a little harder and got her home sooner, but we won't talk about that again either. But I'm sure she'll when the time is right for her and her situation, and her family and her wife and all that, she'll do something.
I
Eric
don't know,
Walken's
man.
sponsors
I
are
think she
raking
might be.
money off of the WNBA players. It's ridiculous. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
They getting the
Yeah,
money. The
yeah.
Nikes and the Reeboks and the Pumas and the Lululemons of the world, they getting their money.
Oh, I mean everything, but I mean I think you got to be creative, man. You got to just be creative marketing. Like me personally, there would just be a lot of things that I would push for them to be able to do in order to get more mass marketing. But the bottom line is the first step is you got to make sure ownership and the Players Association realize your situation and it needs to get better because there's more than enough money. And if you're going to use there's not enough fans or there's not enough interest in driving women's basketball, then make it interesting. They make everything else interesting. Make it
Make it
interesting.
interesting. Tell it.
Let's tag it with the NBA.
Yeah.
Let's tag it with them. So that way now you're gonna get to see both get a W. Now the fans are gonna get to see the fans get more of it, and then people get a better understanding and get to learn to appreciate women's basketball more. Like why let's think about it. NCAA and NCAA men's basketball, both tournaments. We watch both. We watch both. We want to watch South Carolina win it. We want to watch whoever wins it in the men's side. We're watching both. If not, very least we're watching the highlights. We're definitely catching it on ESPN.
True.
They're getting money, and they're played at the same time. Why is the WNBA pushed back after the NBA? Where people are kind of now, basketball championships already been over. I'm not going to watch no girls basketball. But if you coincide them and intertwine them with each other, now you're forced to kind of follow them both at the same time, and you become fans of both.
Listen, I'm already primarily I'm more a fan of women's college. South Carolina. Shouts out to South Carolina. But I mean, think about this, what Eric is saying. Yeah, Sue Bird had to go out there. I mean, Sue Bird, one of the GOATs, $2 million in 1 year in Russia, $200,000 or whatever the case may be here in the US. So they gotta go out there to do those other things. So let's have that conversation and retrain expectations. All right, brother. Let's get into the last story that I had. I didn't even show it with you, but we like to end on positive note. This one's actually kind of funny. I think it's funny. Don't laugh at me. If you don't laugh, I don't care because I think it's funny. You got anybody in cheerleading in your world?
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, shouts out to Nebraska. Nebraska cheerleader, they were out there doing a thing, rah rah, 1, 2, 3, all that. Everybody quit right before finals of the state championship. Right, they quit or they got sick or whatever, that kind of thing. All except for one young lady. She said, "Listen, no, I'm gonna go out here. I'm gonna go out here and do my thing." And sure enough. Katrina Kohel went out there, participated by herself in the championships or in this meet, and by herself she did better she did better than the whole squad has done in 3 years. She actually placed 8th out of 12th doing her little thing right here by herself. Shouts out to determination and just the go for it, to go with it and go out there and get it done. She went out there and said, look at her, man. She out there by herself doing that, and that's crazy. I
That's a
wouldn't
strong.
have the courage to go out there and do that.
Yeah, yeah,
But
that's a strong
she
young
plays
lady.
higher than the entire squad did for 3 years out there by herself. So what does that say for them other ones that ended up quitting? The four, Lone Senior, who had a squad of 4, everyone else quit, and everyone else decided not to show up except for her.
Hey man,
Go out there and do your
strength.
thing, girl. Look at it.
That's nothing. That's like takes your breath away, right? Because that's strength. We know how in courage more so than anything ever, man. And I applaud her for her courage. And to be honest, that's going to take her a long way in life because she's courageous enough to be able to do something like this, take it in front of judges, and obviously place at 8. That's, man, you can't beat that. You can't beat that with a bat.
Right there. Show that to everyone right there who thinks that they can't be the change, that they can't be the one to go out there and make a difference. This young lady went out there and did it herself. Listen, I'll put the link to the video in the description so y'all can see this and share it. James Riley, I see you said your baby girl's in cheerleading. This would be a cool little thing to show to her as well. Don't stop.
I think
can't stop.
And to be
Won't
honest,
stop.
this kind of inspirational, man. Like you said, can't stop, won't stop.
Sure. I'll give her a Focus T-shirt. If I find the address, I'm gonna send her a Focus T-shirt.
Yeah, I think she's man, she doing it, man, and that's super impressive. I mean, us as adults, right? We can appreciate, what this young lady is doing because we already know how hard it's hard to do, and she went out there and kicked butt. They need to celebrate her. They really do. Yeah. They need to really celebrate her.
Yeah. If what was the TV? If Ellen DeGeneres was still on TV, Ellen would highlight something like this, right? Because this is one of those things that just okay, let's have that deeper conversation with this young lady about how and why and that kind of thing.
I'll go a step further. There needs to be a school out there that gives her a scholarship for cheerleading. Because somebody that goes out there and do something like this, that's the kind of person I would want on my team or one of my sidelines cheering and doing these things. So if anybody's taking notice, I don't know why the University of Nebraska, who's in that state, or Creighton, one of those Division I schools, aren't offering this young lady a scholarship. Because whether I don't know what she did, but just the fact that she could do that, she's a leader.
Went out there and did it. Yeah, she went out there and did it.
Yeah. She's a straight leader, and she's got determination, and she's like, I mean, you can't fight it. Whatever she got to say, I want to hear.
That's true. And Mama D, she's a high school student, so she went out there and competed by herself. Finished 8th in her division at the state cheer and dance competition. She had less than 2 weeks to polish her solo performance because everyone else bailed on her. So there we go, man. We're gonna end with that. We're gonna close with some positivity.
That's good, man. That's a good story. That's a good story.
Hey, I surprise you once in a while. You never know what you're gonna get. It's like
absolutely.
I'm like Forrest Gump.
And man, speaking of positive, I mean, I partner with Southwest Minnesota State for a program called the MPP program. It's called the Pathway Program. I don't know if anybody out there knows about something like this, but this is a program that gives kids a second chance in order to go to college. So if you have a 1.7 through a 2.3, they still will admit you. They will still admit you into school as long as you go through a conditional program during the summer. It's a 5-week program. You stay in the dorms. You eat 3 meals a day. You do all these things across campus. And once you pass the program, you automatically get accepted into school. The cool thing about this, the program is absolutely free. All you have to do is pay for your plane ticket to get to Minneapolis. They even make ways to pick you up, take you down to the school, and you stay there for 5 weeks during the summer. And then once you play, you're automatically admitted to school. I think right now this is kind of one of the programs that we now no more have an excuse not going to school, right? No matter what hardship you went through, no matter what you're going through as a young man, young person, a young student athlete, if you really want to go to college, There's programs like this out there to help you.
Yeah.
You can have a 1.7 GPA to a 2.3 and still be accepted to a university.
Think about
And it's
that.
called Southwest Minnesota. All you got to do is
Yeah.
apply for the program. It's called the Pathway Program. So if you guys know anybody that recently graduated or somebody 2023 that's looking for an opportunity to go to school, but they're struggling, even if you have an IEP, a learning disability, they still take you there. And the great thing about this school, the last 2 years, they've had 100% pass through the program. And all those people that pass through the program, typically, they've been averaging a GPA of over a 2.3. Man,
Bruh.
in college.
That's Montel Allen. That's what he doing, y'all. That's what Montel is doing, making a difference. That's
trying to make
cool.
a difference. You challenge us to make a difference, right? You
That's
said
it,
we
man.
need to make a difference in the community.
That's cool, man. That's cool.
The
Hey, send me the links. Make sure I have that because I'm gonna blow that up as well. Put that everywhere. Yeah, again, what a great opportunity program. Spread the word. So, folks, I mean, if you're savvy on YouTube, go ahead and grab that clip of that section right there when Montel was talking and share that out with your social networks. Or again, I will have the link to that school and that program in the description so we can talk about that a little bit further. Dr. Watkins, appreciate you, man. You guys killed the team. No sleep. Come on, man. Look at this. We're gonna have to send him some gear, man. You see that promo code up at the top, TNS20. Go to the store and get you some gear.
Yeah. And don't forget to get that slide.
Oh, hey, they reached out to me today. Yeah, the doctor reached out to me today.
Dr. Amy Coops, right? Yeah.
So I got some things coming. Yeah,
there
we out here doing brand deals. Y'all don't know. Team No Sleep is the truth. Is the truth.
Yeah,
Martel, take us home, brother. Take us home,
share
brother.
with the kids. Yeah. I was just gonna say, please share that information. It's Southwest Minnesota State, smsu.edu. And go to the MPP program. It's called the Pathway Program. Take us out, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, we say it all the time. Get comfortable having those uncomfortable conversations. You know, it just makes us better people and allows us to look through other people's lenses.
I got nothing else to say. We out. Appreciate y'all. Let's do it next time.